Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Witches and Wine. This is the show where we talk about witchy stuff and we drink wine. Which one's mine?
That one.
Clink and drink.
Clink and drink.
Mm-mm-mm. I am your hostess. Oh, that's good. Wow. That's really good. I don't think I've had that before. I like when I take my first sip of the wine he introduces for the first time on camera. It's an authentic reaction. It's really good.
Yeah.
I'm your hostess with the mostest, Lola Stardust.
And I'm your hoist with the moist, Silent Stardust.
And before we get started, we like to do a little disclaimer before our show. It has been brought to our attention that sometimes people don't like to watch pagans drink and talk about witchy stuff. They think that the two don't go together. I don't know, but
we don't get it. But
we don't get it. But you know what? To each their own. And we have a solution for that. There is an X in the corner of your screen. And if you do not like it, you can click the X and we disappear.
And it's gone.
Poof. Like magic. Poof. We are witches. We can do stuff like that. So before we get to our awesome guest that we have waiting there, I'm going to turn it over to Silenus, and he's going to tell us about the lovely wine that we're drinking.
Hi, guys. Tonight I have chosen a blend out of Portugal, out of the Alentejano region. This is a 3-grape blend comprised of Aragonais, Alicante Bouschet, and Cabernet Sauvignon. So 2 native grapes to the area and then a non-native grape. It's dry, medium-bodied, lots of cherry notes, a little bit of spice, a little bit of dirt, a little bit of raspberry.
A little bit of dirt?
A little bit of dirt.
A little bit of
just
dirt.
A little bit of earthiness to it.
It's a little earthy, yeah.
Yeah. Not overly tannic, but definitely on the drier side. Not lip-smackingly dry, but dry.
Yeah, it's a pleasant dry.
And not expensive bottle, going to run you $15 to $20 a bottle.
Oh.
Yeah, so very reasonably priced for the region, for wine out of this region. So give it a go if you can come across it.
Well, thank you, honey. This is very tasty.
Yep.
So let us get to our awesome guest. Like I was saying to him earlier, we run around the same circles with the same online people, but we've never really had a chance to connect. And I think that fate has brought us all together because we're kind of doing each other's shows, I guess you could say, or whatnot. And I think that's really awesome. I want to introduce Harold Sanford Carter III, aka Lone Wolf. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
I'm really excited. Now, for those who are wondering, because we like to make sure you know that we will talk about Lone Wolf's sobriety. He's got non-alcoholic beverages over there. So just making sure, in case there's anyone that's concerned, we're all good here. So, and these are not non-alcoholic because we like our wine. Mm-hmm. Hence, the name of the show is Witches and Wine. Weird. All right, let's get to it. So I first was introduced to Harold through Melissa Anderson. We love Melissa. I did her sacred, what was it? Oh my God, Candid Chats with Bella on the Cauldron. That was right. That's how we met Melissa. Melissa started kind of talking about you and your music, and I think we were going to have you on the show, but something, I don't know. People get busy, life happens, and so I was very excited when I got to hear you a song that you donated or wrote for the Spring Mysteries online last year for Aphrodite.
Yeah.
And that was a beautiful song. So I love that song. But we're going to talk about your music in a second here. I'd like to talk about your origin story. When did you know that you were of the alternative religious choices, or whatever you want to call it?
Probably around 2000, probably around 2000, 1999 from 2001 was kind of my 2 years of just knowing where I'm going to be for the remainder of my journey through this strange place.
Yeah. And can I ask, where are you located? Where are you living? You're in.
I reside in Carter County, Kentucky at the moment.
Okay,
Okay.
that's right, and that's where Melissa is too, right?
She's close by.
Yeah, close by. That's what
She's
I thought.
in southern Ohio.
No,
I thought.
I don't think so. I don't know. Well, anyway, that's fine. So you were getting into more spiritual beliefs and whatnot because you went through kind of a tough time in your life. And can you kind of give us a idea or give us a rundown of when music started to come into your life and how the music and the paganism kind of met?
Well, I mean the music of it has always been there.
Yeah.
I grew up in a generation where, Tupac was cool,
Yep.
where Kid Rock was getting his name,
Yep.
Limp Bizkit, and like, who was some other kids? Crisscross will make you want to jump,
Yep. Yep.
generation. But at the same time, Guns N' Roses, Slash was making a name,
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, little GNR, and
Oh yeah.
Metallica has like always been like beast. Um, but as and I can remember the earliest forms of music that I was doing was rap, was hip hop music.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
That was the earliest form.
Yep. And now, so we sound like we might be around the same age. Do you mind if I ask how old you are? Because we're talking about the same kind of music.
Yeah, I am 42 years old.
Okay, so you're about the same age as my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 51, but we're within the same, musical generation. So because all those bands you were saying in the hip hop of the 90s was amazing.
Yeah.
So you got into music, you always loved it. When did you start to play music and want to start, making your own music?
Well, I can remember being a teenager at like 17, and like I'd get a hold of a karaoke machine, and I would get these little instrumental tapes of like hip hop beats, and they
Yeah.
were like dual decked, and I would take a blank deck cassette tape and the instrumental, and then I would kind of like write music on it, and then
Oh, wow.
poof, I had cassettes of my homegrown rap music at
Yeah.
that point. Yeah.
Did you have a rap name?
The original rap name, stage name that I used from my youth, I was called Slim Nimbus or Nimbus.
I love it. That's
Nimbus, named
slim.
after the Nimbus 2000 from the
Mhm.
Harry Potter stories.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's amazing. I love that. That is awesome.
That's diving deep.
That is awesome. So, you started making hip hop music and you wanted to get into kind of the music. I don't know, did you have big dreams like I'm going to make it, or was it just for entertainment, like just for your own amusement?
I mean, I definitely had big dreams.
Yeah.
Um, I had a real rough childhood, and many of us do have rough childhoods.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I come from. I come from where I didn't have a father in the household.
Yeah.
I had trauma in the family. There was abuse in the family. There was several deaths in the family from a huge fire.
Oh, wow.
And well, in actuality, truth be told, I had a real troubled youth,
Yeah.
and troubled youth get in trouble in the
Yep.
juvenile justice systems. And I ended up in a lot of group homes and military schools uh, and the likes. So I can remember a time where I would sit in those institutions and group homes and boys' schools, and I used
Yeah.
to go through like music magazines, like Source magazine. I would go through,
Mhm.
you know, anything I could find, and in the back of these magazines, they would have like classifieds like come
Yep.
by your personal studio and come by your own beat machines. And I'm thinking, yeah, this is what I want to do, and I'm pricing it out. And that was, I think, when the dream started, because
Yeah.
I wanted to do that. And during that time, and it's kind of the same as it is today. A lot of people that come from backgrounds and troubled youth situations, all that's available for kids these days, and even for myself, and the early 90s and stuff, you either aspire to be, I mean, this is not for everyone, you know, a
Yeah.
professional football player, a basketball player,
Yeah.
or you want to be, you know, a musician, or, you
Hmm.
know, a rapper. You know,
Yep.
my troubled youth neighborhoods, everybody wanted to be the next rapper. And a lot of that still goes on in modern time too, uh,
Yep.
I'm sure. So yeah, I had dreams of being a rapper in those days. Yeah.
Well, that, and I really think, because we like rap, we like hip hop music. We I've noticed that that seems to be such a cathartic and therapeutic way, is writing rap music, and the rhymes, it's poetry, and it's how they work through their troubled times, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so it doesn't surprise me that that's where you just went to, because it is very, not a lot of people like rap music, and we respect that, but
Mhm.
there is poetry in hip hop and rap music, right?
There is.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were like, I've got these dreams, I'm going to do this. And then what happened? Did you play any places? Did you get anything published? Like what started to happen after that?
Well, I mean, I played. See, the problem was alcoholism, which
Mm,
made a very fuzzy mind for myself, and being traumatized and all that stuff.
yeah.
And I also had some substance abuse issues, which related to having criminal issues, which
Yeah.
I found myself in a lot of. I was no longer in these group homes and institutions that we were talking about for juveniles. I ended up going to the big boy school, and
Ah,
it became a point of recidivism, a revolving door. And one thing that, you know, especially our community is aware of is cycles, and
yep.
that cycle continued for a lot of years. And it took a lot of determination to break that cycle.
Mm,
I can honestly say that that cycle is forever broken.
yeah, good. Well, and it's it, it doesn't surprise me that people who are creative, the most creative, talented people always have, I don't want to say always, but usually have some sort of substance abuse or troubled childhood,
Well,
or
they say the line between genius and madness is very thin. You
yeah.
also see it between madness and addiction.
Right.
Now
Crawling.
you see, I'm feeling, I'm gonna, just the elephant in the room. We're talking about alcoholism, and I'm taking a big swig of wine. But it's, the irony is not lost on me. Um, Substance abuse and alcoholism. That I want to touch upon that. So as always, it can be a dream killer. I have told people addiction doesn't give a shit about you. Addiction, you view addiction as a separate thing. You can't negotiate with addiction. You can't appease addiction. You can't bribe it. You can't. Addiction, its main goal is to, it severs ties with your families. It ruins jobs. So this is some heavy stuff, and I'm glad that we can talk about it. When you were going through this with substance abuse and alcoholism, were you still trying to make music? Were you doing, or was it just like that went on the back shelf? Because I can tell you from my personal experience, I had some dreams of doing some things either musically or acting wise or whatnot, and substance abuse got in the way of that dream, and I literally put even my spirituality, everything went on, like, I didn't purposely put it on a back burner, it's just the addiction takes over. Is that how you found yourself?
I mean, absolutely. If
Yeah.
if you are trying to do something to become your best self, if you're
Mhm.
trying to reach your highest ideals, and you're clouded in any capacity, you're not really reaching your full potential.
Yeah.
And I want to be very clear. Dionysus, bestowed the vine upon humanity because it's a great gift bestowed from the gods,
Yeah.
but those gifts can be abused,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
some people abuse them more readily than others. And I
Yep.
am one of the sparks that abuse that gift.
Yeah.
So the best way that I can deal with it for my specific, incarnation here in this strange world is just to have complete abstinence. And so far, it's worked for me.
That's amazing. Did you ever have to go into any treatment programs or anything like that, or was it just you doing it yourself?
I have been in treatment programs. I've been in AA. I've checked myself into rehab. None of those things worked.
Wow.
The only thing that worked was I was in touch with a Neo Alexandrian priest that I was corresponding with um, while I was incarcerated in one of the razor wire jungles.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he reached out to me was he gave me some pro se from Doreen Valiente, and a lot of our viewers know the pro se because it's the charge of the goddess.
Yep.
And within the charge, it has a specific excerpt that talks about reaching your highest ideals.
Yes.
And when this particular priest reached out to me, I gave it some thought. I always wanted to be that rapper. I always wanted to do music. I wanted to do better. I didn't like the recidivism. I knew I was under a spell of recidivism. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I wanted to change. I wanted to be better than I was. And I just, the that particular pro se from Doreen Valiente ultimately changed the trajectory of my life forever. And that's my story. That
Oh
is
my
my
gosh.
that's my story.
Well, the charge of the goddess is so, I mean, there's so many beautiful meanings in it, and it
Mhm.
is such a beautiful
Right.
poem. And we do it every day. We
Mhm.
we do the charge of the goddess every day. We do a daily devotional where we do the charge, and then we do our gratitudes, our intents for the day. Um, and every time, I mean, we have been doing this for a while. Every time we recite the charge of the goddess, we discover something new. Like
A
every
new
time,
emphasis.
every time. What was that?
An emphasis each time changes.
Yeah, yeah.
So when we recite it one day, it has one. We focus on one part, and it's not intentional. It's
No, it
just
just
what comes out.
happens. Yeah, yeah. So that's, I love that story that it saved your life because it is a powerful charge. It is
Mhm.
a powerful poem. I want to talk about your spiritual path. I was reading up on you, and you said that you joined like a self development group. And what happened in that group that brought you back to music?
Well, the self development rhetoric that you must have read had a lot to do with when we were especially in my youth, we used to sit around in huddles and bang on tables
Okay.
and kick like a beat, like drums.
Yeah.
And people would get around and have a cipher, and they would start freestyling, and then it would do rap and stuff.
Oh, cool.
And
Okay.
and then like it was like it's an ego thing, a boost thing, especially in mainstream hip hop. It's who's the better MC. It's kind of like, and myself and Cloud the Pagan Rapper back in the day, a few years back, we already come to the conclusion that it's not about who's the best pagan rapper. It's that we're all the best.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
not the best. We are the best, and that's just something that has taken grasp in because Cloud and I and others, because there are other pagan rappers besides us.
Yeah.
um, we're on the front lines of this pagan hip hop thing.
Yeah.
So anything, I mean, and it's just only last year that hip hop made his entry into the IPMA awards.
Yep.
So this is a new thing for the community, and a lot of hip hops, it has negative connections, but with pagan hip hop, it'll always be positive, and
Yep.
that's going to stay. That's going to stay the current from here on out as long as Lone Wolf's around.
Yeah. Well, it's. I mean, we first got introduced to pagan rap, pagan hip hop through Cloud, and
Right.
we've had him on our show before, and
Cool.
yeah, and then we were like, this is like really awesome, and I love the beat and I love the style, and it's got such a positive
Yeah.
message, and you can relate to it as a pagan. So I was very excited to know that hear that there was. Are you okay, hon?
Mhm.
You in pain?
Yeah, just
He had hernia surgery. So if my husband is moving around, he's just trying to not show too much pain. Um, So pagan hip hop music. Now, I've heard you play other types of music too, but is that your main? Is that what your genre is, or do you explore other genres?
I don't really know. I mean, I talk about, incarceration and spending time there. But, outside of incarceration, I'm very cultured. I've been around the United States. I really would like to hop off this continent for a while. And that
Yeah.
might be in my definite future. But culturally, I'm adaptable. I'm
Yeah.
adaptable and I'm adoptable. But I'm adaptable to the sense of where I've been around different types of cultures, different types of people, because like America's a big melting pot. So there's a lot of
Yes.
different cultures that you can get in tune with.
Oh yeah.
And being around and growing up in these places and being where I've been, you meet a lot of different cultures, and with culture comes music,
Yep.
and so I've been around folks that just love some Joni Cash or some Hank Williams, and then like Megadeth or Metallica or hip hop or bluegrass or pagan musicians, and it's kind of like I want to feel like I would like to be multi-genre
Yeah.
as far as like music goes. I enjoy it. You talk about the emotional attachments to music and stuff.
Yeah.
Being infused and the magic it yields and all these things. Music is my form of letting out tears. Um, I
Hmm.
I don't cry much, but if I write music, if I write a song, at the end of a song, if I record after I'm evaluating it, I'll shed tears. It helps me. It's a healing process.
Oh, music is my main way of releasing emotion, of working through pain. Of, I mean, we've got music playing in our house, in my car, everywhere I go I have music. um I grew up in the 80s, where so I there was a lot of, for me, the music I really like, I grew up on a lot of that, like synthesized synth pop kind of stuff, and I'm doing the dance. I always do the dance when I talk
The
about
Molly
my
Ringwald.
it's the 80s dance, if no one knows what that is. But it's been such a huge part of my life since I was a kid. And so um you were talking about some of your hip hop influences, and you were talking about some metal and stuff like that. Do you have any other influences that you really, or anything new that you're listening to that you really, really are like digging?
Um, well, I deal with a lot of pagan musicians. I
Mhm.
interview a lot of pagan musicians,
Yeah.
so I'm really I get like informed of a lot of good acts. Right now, I'd say in the morning when I drink my coffee, Dom the Bard plays probably every morning.
Oh yes,
But like,
Denver Bard.
I mean,
Yeah.
I back in the day, I'd probably tell you Stevie Nicks,
Hmm.
stuff. But who doesn't love Stevie Nicks?
I mean,
Like as far as influences go, in my younger days, I would probably tell you like Tupac Shakur and stuff. Uh,
hmm,
but as I age, Tupac, only was around until what I think he was 27. That
yeah,
27,
yep,
got like the 27 curse, with all the musicians, like
yep. Kurt Cobain and
right,
Jimi
exactly.
Hendrix, and
Uh,
yeah,
and now, and if I listen to that same music and the lyrics and stuff, modern time, and I contemplate like, wow, what was I thinking about? Like this stuff is so like bad for
yeah,
like it's bad for thinking.
yeah,
It's bad for things like being the best you and stuff like that. And but I guess at the time I was all for it. Not saying that it's not very poetic and it's very powerful because it is.
yeah,
But my taste in music has definitely changed. What I can say is that I tend in modern day, as of now, I tend not to listen to mainstream music at all.
yeah, yeah,
I listen nothing but homegrown pagan musicians,
yeah.
and my CD rack is the Brian Hinkeys and the Jim
Hmm.
Brackleys and the Primal Rhythms, stuff like that. The Mama Gina, all the Jay Chuckers and all that stuff is what I consume myself with now. And it's funny because I'll record hip hop music and I don't even listen to hip hop anymore at all. Like I never. So I mean, I guess in some ways it can be all right because I'm not, I'm not. It's completely original because I have nothing to draw from anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't listen to hip hop anymore. I'm not really into it.
yeah. Well, it's changed a lot too, and
And we've changed.
we've changed. I think music also is a wonderful way to reflect on where you were in that particular time of your life. Because I'll put a song on, and it takes me right back to being a teenager, or right back to being in my early 20s or whatever. And I'm not that same person anymore. So it may not appeal to me, but there's a nostalgic feeling that's
Yeah,
associated with
there's
it.
a reason why you go see your favorite bands from the 80s and 90s at the local casino
Yeah.
because it brings back those feelings of when they were around and made you happy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, you mentioned what you do. You interview people, and we talked about Fringe TV. Can you tell us what is Fringe TV?
Fringe TV is an online television station. Its inception was 2015. I was privileged enough to become the program manager of
Mhm.
Fringe TV the middle of last year, and I've had it less than a year.
Yeah.
And it's a great endeavor. It's become a part of my path.
And
Become
what can we find on it? Is it 24/7?
it does run 24/7. It runs 24/7, 365 days a year. It's very easy to find www.fringetv.online. We run interviews of
Yep.
prestigious leaders in the community, authors, musicians. We have educationals, documentaries, uh, pagan music videos. Um,
Yeah.
we try to reach out to all of the pagan community, um, and we don't focus on any individual tradition, but much more all of the traditions. If you know, yeah,
Well, I tuned in the other day, and I think the movie Wicker Man, the old 70s Wicker Man movie, was on. And I remember talking to Melissa. She said they're also she's playing like that kind of stuff too, like the B movies that we liked. Isn't that true?
I'm not sure of the ratings of it. I do know that the Wicker Man is very popular within the pagan community.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And if and if we can make it happen, we're going to make it happen.
yeah,
And we're going to continue to try to, and no, well, we're not going to try. We
yeah.
are going to bring you the best pagan content available.
Now, you've got a new addition to your lineup, I believe, on Saturday nights at 9 p.m.
Mhm.
Who is that? What is that all about? And who's that you've added to the lineup? I want to hear.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We have added a new show, like you were saying, Saturday at 9 p.m. Witches and Wine.
Oh,
What's that?
what's witches and wine? No, that's us. That's
Yeah,
us.
yeah, it's a great addition to the broader community, and
Yeah.
I mean we're seen in over 53 countries. We're seen over there in Europe, Australia. There's parts of Africa.
Wow.
It spreads worldwide, and it's something that is really really informational.
Yeah.
It de-seeds misinformation. There's plenty of that,
Yeah.
and we try to go to the root of paganism,
Yeah.
and go and try to give the best content available, and to be honest, witches and wine, you're kind of hot right now.
I guess we are. I know Melissa asked us last year sometime. Um, maybe last I time I have no concept of time since pandemic and quarantine and everything. Like it could have been 5 years ago, and I keep saying sometime last year. Like so so don't quote me on this, but she did ask sometime in the past if we wanted to have witches and wine on Fringe TV, and I wasn't quite ready yet.
Right.
And And then she asked me again just recently, and I don't know why, but in my gut I went, yeah, like I was ready. And so I'm really looking forward to um making connections with you and with the other people that are part of the programming and the artists, and because I that's where my creative juices flow, is just people who are contribute to this.
Well, and it gives an avenue for community because, like you said, we are here, there, and everywhere. And if we have a centralized hub where we can go get this information from across the world, you know, let's put it to use.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and we're happy to contribute to it. We're actually honored to be able to contribute to it. So
Very honored that people are interested in our little show, because this is still a very little show. We don't have, we're not influencers or anything
we're
like
sitting
that.
in our living room
We're
right now.
sitting in our living room. We don't have a studio. Like, this is just, but I think people respond to the rawness and the naturalness of it. And that's kind of why we've kept it very homegrown and very do it yourself kind of thing. But we appreciate being part of Fringe TV. We are fans of yours. We love Melissa. So what I want to talk about,
Is another organization that
there's the International Pagan Music Awards, correct?
Yep, that's the awards. Yep.
That's the awards. That's where I've met a lot of our guests through that. And you were the winner for male performer. Was it last year?
Yep, last year, 2022. Yep.
Yeah, and
congratulations.
congratulations. That's a big deal. Can you kind of tell us how that works and what that is?
Well, it's basically you have a nomination process.
Yeah.
You're nominated, and it's a voting process where you rally up the fans, most of which are part of the pagan community, and it's $5 a vote, which is going on now. And there's been
Wow.
nominations this year as well. And it's very easy to vote for your favorite pagan musician because a lot of people have them.
Mhm.
And you can put in a vote for your favorite pagan musician at ipaganma.org.
Okay.
And 9 times out of 10, your favorite pagan musician is already a member of the IPMA. And if they're not a member of IPMA and they're a pagan musician, I would encourage them to do so because it's such a great networking association. And you just said it there that a lot of your interviewers were
Yeah.
part of that association. And it's a great web of a network.
Yeah, and I'm always down to talk to musicians and promote them and support them, because not only is it just like music, but it's pagan music.
Mhm.
And that's
So-
no.
Support your fellow pagans,
Yeah.
whatever path they are on, whatever way they contribute to our society. Support them because there's a lot of us out there,
Yeah.
and the more we can support each other, the more we can come out of the woodwork, and the more we can make ourselves present and show the world that how many of us are out here.
And especially with music, I think that pagan music is gonna I think it's gonna leak into some mainstream, or at least to get something, because there's so many amazing artists that put out such music that I'm going, this should be on like mainstream radio.
Well, we just saw last year one of the biggest artists in the world had Hecate's symbol, Hecate's wheel, all in her music video.
Which
That was Dua Lipa's.
that was a few years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, there was a Hecate symbol in a Dua Lipa video. And so witchcraft is making its way into mainstream. So how come? So I think that pagan music should start leaking into mainstream, right?
Absolutely. How this, I mean, it's a lot of people are talking about that. There's an influx, within paganism. And with that influx, it's going to trickle over to, music as well.
Yes, absolutely. And it's about freaking time, because there are musicians that I have met and I have heard that are just as, if not more talented than what's out there right now. You are going to be performing, right, at a festival coming up in North Carolina, correct?
Yes, April 28th and I believe April 29th, I'll be at a festival called Pagan Paths in Reedsville, North Carolina, to do a set each day. I'm also going to be performing at a newly opened metaphysical witchy occult shop called Collective Consciousness. I'm really not sure where the whereabouts is yet.
Yeah.
I'm working on the whereabouts, but I'm in contact with them through the networking of different radio stations to do that.
And now we've got Fringe TV online website there. And I know you have a YouTube channel, and I forgot to put it on my banners. You have a YouTube channel. Do you have a website as well?
I don't. I do not have a website, so to
Okay.
speak. I'm very poor, so I use something called DistroKid, and DistroKid kind of puts it to the streams, and a lot of the musicians do the same thing. So
Oh, okay.
if you're interested in hearing some of my music in real time, you can just type in Harold Sanford Carter III on the Google. Multiple things will pop up. YouTube, the iTunes, Pandora, all that stuff.
Oh, cool.
As far as websites go, the only website that I'm really involved in is a website that is maintained by Fringe TV, and that's at www.fringetv.online. And every Saturday at 3 p.m. you can watch a brand new Lone Wolf show because I'm the host of the Lone Wolf Show there.
Yeah.
And Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. you can find some reruns.
Nice.
Yeah.
I if you ever need a guest or a couple guests, you could always hit these two winos over here. So before we close it out, I want to give you time to perform a song. Is this a new song?
Oh yeah. It certainly is. I wrote it about a week ago. Well,
Oh, wow.
Very new.
maybe a week and a half ago.
Well,
Wow.
we heard the name. We're like, yes, we must know this song.
So what is the name of this song?
The name of the song is "The Vine, the Wine, the Chalice."
And well, are you ready? Would you like to perform it?
Sure, sure, certainly.
Awesome. Here live on Witches and Wine, Lone Wolf doing Vine, Wine, and Chalice.
In the mogul's world, I'm a joke. I'm only known by the pagans. Truth be told, it's been alright. With all my imperfections, on the ground, it's okay to fall. And ask for directions. Work as hard as you can. For God's sake, have persistence. You can go straight to the top. Just take it slow, dying, I say. Bye. The chalice. Have my walk with Pam, but he's now the one who made me. I finally understand. Apollo has some. ever see how the wolf moves? Well, howling's out the moon. Hear my heart on the one man song. Apologize if I'm out of tune. Kentucky living Daniel Boone. I need some healing, I'll have some wounds. The wild, the chalice. If you knew about me, but I'm a man on redemption. Modern times and the cowboy bard, but that's just my perception. A medium man who went up fast. I need protection. Father tear, I need a justice song. Am I not this reflection? And I don't mind cakes in hell. That's religious exception. The wine, the chalice. The vine, the wine, the chalice.
Oh my
Thank you for
God,
playing
that
for
was
us.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh, I love it. Maybe that might be our new theme song. Who knows? We don't have one. But I say new theme song. We don't even have a theme song. That I love it. That was really wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Now, when you wrote that, were you like,
What was inspiration?
what was the
caused it?
inspiration of that?
I think the inspiration. I'm not really sure. I mean, I definitely write these songs in solitude. I think the inspiration was. I mean, there was. I mean, there was a time where Pan and I,
Mhm.
we walked together a lot. Because and a lot of justification went with that. And then I got angry at Pan, and Pan made it got angry at me, and I didn't, and that's kind of the history of it. But I think I have to know these things. I'm at a point in my path where, Dionysus bestowed the vine upon humanity. It's a necessary enjoyment, and I don't have problems with addictions anymore. And I understand from what it is,
Yeah.
and I'm very comfortable with that. And as far as like a gathering, and if there's a chalice and the wine is present, a lot of people say, "Oh, are you okay with this?"
Yeah.
I am okay with it. I'm
Good.
confident with it. I'm okay with it, and I am ready to move forward and ultimately reach my highest ideals.
Yeah.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I
Thank you.
loved it. I always tell people that sobriety and recovery is there's no blanket way that, there's no rules like this is what you must do to reach complete sobriety or complete recovery. It's very personalized.
Just like the pagan path,
Just
the
like-
recovery path is
Yeah, just like our
completely
pagan
unique.
path. It's completely unique to each individual. And I really appreciate you sharing all of that with us. Is there anything else that you want to plug or talk about before we wrap it up?
Yeah, make sure you vote for your favorite pagan musician at ipaganma.org. If your favorite pagan musician isn't listed and you can contact them, they should join. Also, make sure you tune in to Witches and Wine on www.fringetv.online every Saturday at 9 p.m.
Oh my God, look at that plug. And that was ipaganma.org, right?
Correct.
Okay, and I put that across. And then, yes, on Fringe TV Online, if you watch it for anything, watch it for, and are you picking out just episodes that just tickle your fancy?
I mean, for Witches and Wine.
Yeah.
Witches and Wine. I'm interested in the ones that are talking about people that are well rooted in the community. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
The very first show that we aired last week had Mr. Oberon Zell, who's also been a guest on some of our shows that run.
Yeah.
And I'm very interested in the IPMA artists that you've interviewed.
Yeah.
And perhaps meeting some folks that we haven't discovered.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that. I mean, thank you for doing that. And yes, we're very honored to be on this platform with you. So, well, everyone, thank you so much, Harold, for joining us and being so honest and real. And before we went live, you said you can ask me anything, and so I was like, oh, good.
Our interviews and our guests always go best when we can just free flow and don't have to tiptoe.
Yeah,
because you never know where a conversation's gonna lead if you allow it to be open.
Yeah, exactly. This has been wonderful. So if anyone out there in TV land or YouTube land or whatever you want to call it is interested in what we do, well, first of all, you can always make a donation to our 501c3, right? Nonprofit. We are a nonprofit. You can do our Venmo, which is COTCATC. The donations are not required. They are just very much appreciated. Or you can do our PayPal, which is paypal.me/ COTCATC. And if you're interested in what we do as a coven on our show, if you want to be on our show, if you have suggestions, you can email us at
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That was crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Harold, for being such an amazing guest, and for that song that was just absolutely gorgeous. We were like going, this is really, not that we were surprised, but we were really getting into it. We really liked it. Everyone, remember, always be so wonderfully kind to one another and always walk with the goddess. And until next time, blessed be. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.